Right, I think it is important when you're protecting plants, or a palm in this case. We're talking about the Washingtonia robusta here, which I've had for, must been in the ground for 6 years now, from a very small plant. And you can set up overhead protection or whatever you choose to do, wrap it, fleece bag, whatever, but I think it is important to keep an eye on things and seeing if what you're doing is working. And we did have that week of 3 or 4 frosts down to -3, which is not going to kill the palm, but that does damage some of the fronds. So we've got the overhead protection, and that worked at -3. Had no damage to the fronds that are inside or underneath the canopy, as it were, of the protection, but some of the older fronds which were sort of sticking out of the overhead protection, they did take some damage. So we can see here this one sort of browned off at the ends, and another old leaf there which is started to brown off, so that was sort of sticking outside. So what I've done is now, not so fussed about the old leaves, it's obviously the newer leaves we're looking to protect. So again, here we've got an old leaf which is browned off, but all the newer stuff in the middle is still green. So what I don't want to do is end up like a situation last winter where basically lost all the foliage that had to start again. I want to keep at least 3 or 4 fronds in the middle looking nice and green. So what we've done is, I sort of covered it in another video, but we'll just go through it again. My old polytunnel frame, that's obviously sectional, it's a 4-metre one, so I had a couple of these sections spare, so I've basically put that up, staked into the ground, cable tied to the frame so it can't blow away. So that is keeping that canopy is keeping the frost and damp, you know, a lot of rain we've had the last few weeks. That's just keeping that a bit dry, so that's going to definitely help with any sort of rot issues, and just keeping the frost off basically, and keeping the leaves looking nice. So at -3 we had the other week, I didn't put a fleece bag over this, but I think if we get near that again I will do. So this is why I've tied the fronds up a bit tighter, so they're all underneath the canopy, and also because I just tied them up and managed to catch myself on one of the teeth on the pedioles. So for ease of putting a fleece bag over, I've tied them up quite tight, and they will stay tied up over winter. And yeah, anything over or under -2, the fleece bag's going to go over the top of them. Again, just for the cold period, and then that'll come straight off again, because we don't want to cover these up long term over winter, because you're going to get all sorts of rot and damp issues in there, and that's killing with kindness, if you like. That's not going to help. So off with the fleeces on mild times, and then back on with the fleeces if you get really cold. So again, I've done exactly the same thing with the Bootia odorata over here. I have tied this one up as well, and that's going to remain tied, and again, fleece bag on and off as and when needed. And the other big Bootia odorata, this one is a bit fuller than the one we just looked at, so I could have tied this up, but I have got a large fleece bag which is 2 meters by 2 meters, and that just literally I just slip it straight over the top and then pull a drawstring, job done. So I don't have to tie this one up. Again, in the UK, you know, yeah, it is cold, and for people who don't live in the UK, we get basically 3 or 4 months of nasty, dull, cold weather, but we don't really get that much sort of freezing temperatures. We'll get, when we do, and that's, you know, often a week and a half patch where you'll get these freezes. But you know, other than that, you might get 1 or 2, 3 of them a year over the winter, and that's it. And the rest of the time it's you know, fairly mild. So it's just reacting to them cold dips rather than, you know, going overboard and boxing stuff in. And I do admire people who do that, you know, the guys in Canada and North America, when they box all the palms in and put the Christmas lights on and that. And yeah, that's obviously seems to work for them, but for me that seems like a lot of trouble, and that's what you have to do, obviously. But so I'm not knocking that. I'd do the same thing if I lived in that environment. But I think in the UK we don't really do that, just due to the fact cause the winter is so damp and wet. We get a lot of rain, and yeah, it's just damp and soggy all the time, and I just think that'd be a lot of rot issues. But I mean, again, if you're in the UK and you box your palms in, let me know. I'd be happy to hear about that sort of situation and see if that works for you or not. Right, let's leave it there. So just a quick one really on there, you know, just keep an eye on your palms and just react as and when you need to, but don't go overboard, because you can do more harm than good protecting things too early for too long a period when they don't need protecting. Right, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.